Brigadier Generals Bernard B. and Clement Stevens were residents of Pendleton, cousins, Civil War generals, and casualties of the war. They share a monument here in St. Paul Cemetery. We'll look at the life of General Stevens this week under the kudzu. A native of Connecticut, Clement Hoffman Stevens was born on August 14, 1821. His father was a Southern-born naval officer while his mother was from South Carolina. The Stevens family lived in Florida for a time until the death of Stevens' father in 1836. The young widow moved her family back to South Carolina. Born into a naval family, it was expected that Stevens enlist. He spent several years at sea as secretary to two officers, Commodore William Shubrick and Commodore William B. Stevens eventually married the sister of his cousins, Bernard and Hamilton B. By 1842, Stevens was a banker in Charleston, but he also developed an interest in ordnance. He became a colonel in the South Carolina militia at the start of the Civil War, and in 1861, he became a Confederate colonel. Stevens designed and constructed the first ironclad battery which helped to bombard Fort Sumter. During the Battle of First Manassas, Stevens was aide-de-camp to his brother-in-law, General B. B was killed in the battle and Stevens was wounded. After recovering, Stevens was appointed colonel of the 24th South Carolina Infantry. He participated in the Battle of Secessionville on June 16, 1862, the Vicksburg Campaign, 1862 to 1863, where he was described as iron-nerved, and he was wounded a second time at the Battle of Chickamauga on September 20th, 1863. On January 20th, 1864, he was promoted to Brigadier General and commanded an Army of Tennessee Brigade until his death. Brigadier General Clement Hoffman Stevens was shot in the head on July 20th, 1864 during the Battle of Peachtree Creek. He died 5 days later. General Stevens' body was taken to Pendleton, South Carolina, his wife's home, where he was buried with his brother-in-law, General B. in St. Paul Cemetery. A weather and worn spire marks their joint graves. In 2000, the Dixie Chapter number 395 UDC erected a marker to Stevens beside the cemetery. Like his more famous contemporary Stonewall Jackson, General Clement Stevens was also known by a nickname. He was called The Rock. I'm Brian Scott with some Thanksgiving tales coming up next week right here under the kudzu.